Hello everyone, this is Coach Oliver once again. We are here in round number 5 of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022 in Berlin, Germany. Let's have a quick recap on the decisive games in that round. And we will start with Aronian's game against K-mer. With this win, Aronian clinches Pool C. Right. So Aronian is the first person to qualify in the semifinal stage. Let's go to the game straight away. Okay, K-mer went for d4. This young GM from Germany. He is actually under Peter Lecko. Okay, it's Lecko who is coaching K-mer. So knight f6 by Aronian, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, and c3, bishop b4. Okay, we have the Queen's Gambit declined. Queen a4 check. This is the Ragozin. Queen e4 check. If let's say white plays e3, and then this castles. This is the normal Nimzo Indian. Yeah, so this is a Nimzo Indian. With Queen a4 check and then knight c6, we are into the Ragozin. e3. Another interesting variation here. If let's say you play that knight to e5, attacking c6, black will play a5, of course, protect b5. Sorry, the b4 bishop. Yeah. If you go for e3, just castles. And black has a lead in development. Because, okay, you take, and this one takes. If you're greedy with a pawn on c6, oops, queen will be trapped. Yeah, queen will be trapped. Let's say queen to b7, and e4 hitting here. If you play that move on d2, knight d6, the queen is trapped. So you gotta be careful, huh? Again, it's material versus development. But the most important thing, by the way, is developing. So instead of knight e5, it's better to play e3. Castles, queen c2, queen into e7, bishop d2. This is a bit provocative, yeah. White also showing his intention to castle queenside because he's not opening his light square here. We're in for a fight. K-mer lost to Aronian 2 days before this, so he's going for his revenge. Takes in c4, takes in c4, e5. That's nice timing by Aronian with the king in the middle. d5, queen c5. We have a very complicated position here. Queen attacks c4, now knight e4, queen protects c4, knight attacks the queen. Okay, knight takes e4, queen takes e4, knight goes to e7. An interesting choice by Aronian. Now, if let's say okay, in the game, knight takes e5 was played by white. I'm not sure about knight takes e5. It would have been safer to just castle. Okay, Aronian with knight e7 is trying to go for bishop f5. I think hitting the queen. Maybe queen takes e5. Queen takes c4, rook f c1. I don't know where's the queen going. Queen b5, knight e4. Maybe this one is nice, or maybe slightly better for white. Okay, let's go back. So knight takes e5 was played. White wants blood, yeah. And here we go. Bishop f5, queen f4, queen, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2. White wants to go into complications. I think it's also partly because of the nature of the tournament standings. Yeah, Vincent K-mer wants to win this game. Queen b4, queen c1, queen c5. Aronian is ready for the draw. Yeah. If king d2, Let's go queen b4. g4. White wants to fight. And then a very dynamic move from Aronian g5. Wow. You want blood? I'll give you one. Oh my god, yeah. And then White's response is even more mind-boggling with b4. Oh my god, yeah, this is just wow. We have a game. This is what we like about chess when players decide to fight it out. Yeah, exciting battles also excites the viewers, especially the romantics. I like this kind of chess. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at this g5 move. If queen takes on g5, bishop g6. Black maintains the pin and the king. b5 is coming, yes. So that's probably the reason why white wants to move away that queen from the c5 square and to move out of the pin. So it takes on d4, okay, at the expense of the pawn and also the safety of the king. Yeah, it's a bit vulnerable now. c3, queen d4, protecting the bishop. At the same time, the c3 square, yeah. Knight g6, nice move by Aronian. In the game, bishop b3 was played. Now let's take a look again. Bishop, the pawn takes f5, there's knight takes e5, removing the defender of c4. If you capture the knight, queen takes c4. This king is helpless, yeah. It's just too open. Okay, so bishop b3, queen a3 check. When the opponent's king is not safe, don't exchange queens, yeah. Go for the kill. King d2, c5, well. Here knight takes, okay, sorry, queen c3. If let's say d takes c6, rook f d8, yep, pin. Although there's also knight d7. It's hard to assess this position, yeah, because white's, but the black's king is also not so safe. Okay, queen to c3, knight takes e5, g takes f5. Wow, what a game. Rook f8, protecting the knight on e5. Rook to g1, hitting g5. b5. Aronian again. Aronian being Aronian. These ideas are free flowing, yeah. Very enterprising. Okay, let's go. White was like, okay, take king h8, bishop d1. I'm not too sure about bishop d1. Why not rook hg1? Yes. Why not rook hg1? I don't know. Maybe he was worried about f6 and rook g3, c4, bishop c2. Not too sure. Okay, but again, it's hard to assess this complicated position. It's anybody's game. Bishop d1, he was protecting, was too worried about f3, I guess. Queen a6, bishop into e2, rook a d8, d5, e4, queen a4. It was also possible to go queen a6 here. Yep. But anyways, queen a4, hitting e4, and white blinks. Yeah. In positions like this, you gotta be extra careful. I don't know what was White thinking about playing rook h5. Okay, he was so low on time. Yeah, time was a big factor here. He was White was around 6 minutes or 5 minutes here when he played rook h5. It was important to play f3, protect e4, because once e4 is gone, I mean the king is also gone. Okay, This is time trouble. Okay, experience also plays a role in this kind of situation. K-mer being the youngest player in the group, so he needs more exposure, yeah, especially in crunch time. After rook h5, everything just goes downhill. It goes downhill for white here. After queen takes e4, rook g1. Right, probably he was hoping for rook takes h7, the cheapo with queen h3. Right? Okay, that should show you. Yeah, a move like b4, for example. Okay, this is the cheapo here. Takes h7 and queen h3. Queen h4. That is mate. Yeah, but Aronian, an elite player, will not fall for that one, of course. d5 is hanging, king into c1. Black is again hoping for queen takes e2. Sorry, white is hoping for queen takes e2. Yeah. Queen f4 check. King into b1. Rook b4. Yes. Suddenly rook b4. Knight can also jump to c4. The queen takes an eye on the h6 square, because if you take on h7 takes, play queen h3, there is queen h6, no mate. Because after rook d4, he played bishop takes b5. It's just desperation, nothing else to do. Rook b4 check, king e1, rook takes b5. A piece is a piece. After rook e1, just f6, blocking the pin, protecting the knight. And that's it, and white resigned. His king is also not safe on a1. And with the win, Aronian qualifies for the semifinals. The first guy to be in the semis. Okay, let's take a look at another decisive game. Nakamura versus Grishchuk. With this win, once again, Nakamura leads Group A, not yet win. He's not winning Group A yet because Isipenko also won an important game. Wow. It will be actually an exciting last round in Group A because Nakamura and Isipenko will play in the last round. Who's gonna win Group A? It's up for grabs tomorrow. Okay, let's take a look at Nakamura Grishchuk quickly. d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop d7, e4, d6. We have the King's Indian. King's Indian for Nakamura. Sorry, for Grishchuk. Bishop e2, castles, bishop e3. Right, an interesting line here by Naka. This is actually the Averbach system. And happy birthday to Grandmaster Yuri Averbach. 100 years of age. Imagine that, a centenarian. Wow. The level of discipline. That guy is a legend, yeah. Still playing the game at 100 years. Oh, that's so impressive. That's very, very impressive. He had COVID last year and he recovered. So that means that guy is a fighter. Okay. So let's go e5 here, continue. Grishchuk play d5, d5. Knight a6, h4. Okay, Nakamura again, going for the attack. Knight c5. Queen c2. Protecting e4 at the same time, clearing the castle on the queen side. c6, h5, opening the h5, c55, c55. Grishchuk was also very smart. If white tries to castle here, at least he has the open c file, yeah? That was the point of c6. Queen a5, pin. Again, knight takes e4, or this knight is attacking e4 with the pin on e1. h6, bishop on h8. Nice moment by Nakamura, nailing the king. F3, protecting e4, then board on e4. Bishop d7, rook to b1, threatening a double attack on queen and the knight. Knight on a4, queen d2, blocking the pin. Takes. Okay, this is quite problematic for white, the c3 pawn, but he has a counterplay also on b7. So queen c7 back, g4. He continues his advantage on the king side. Bishop into c8, clearing the line 4 or the square for the knight, d7 to c5. Knight h3, knight d7, knight into f2. Bishop goes to f6, castles. Bishop goes to e7, king h2. Oh, an interesting move by Nakamura. Okay, he played king h2 to be closer, I guess, to the g4 pawn, clearing the line for this rook, because he was actually waiting for black to go f5, then he can take with g, and then rook g1, rook g7. Yeah. So it was just a prophylactic move. The king also moves away from the danger on this a7 to g1 diagonal. Okay, so knight into c5, knight d3, b6 takes and takes. Okay, now white has the control of the b file. f4, break it to me gently, takes. Bishop to d7, c4. Nakamura opens up the c3 square for his queen, yeah, and here. And Bishop played rook b8, which was a mistake. He has to play here. The problem with Bishop is he spends a lot of time in the early part of the game. And now when the crucial time comes, he doesn't have time. I don't know what he's thinking early, but he needs this crucial time. It's always Bishop problem, this time management. Play rook b8, he has to play bishop f6 here. I mean, this is a danger zone. Maybe he was worried about e5, I guess. And then if let's say takes and takes and takes and then b6, or even here takes e5 and bishop e3, bishop, so e4 check, g2, bishop e5, and then bishop e4. After the exchange of bishop, Nakamura can still go for queen c3. But at least this is much better than what happened in the game, and I allowed queen c3. Nakamura now is close to winning. The dark square weakness, yeah, from a1 to h8, and g7 is a mate. f6, the bishop is like a pawn on e7. Here to b3. That's a very smart move. Go to b6, g5. Right, putting pressure on the pin pawn on f6. Yes, the pawn cannot take. Which is mate on g7. Rook f7, bishop c1. Nice retreat by Nakamura, repositioning the bishop. Going to b2. Mate is coming up on g7. Queen goes to d8. Bishop e2. Queen f8. King g2. It was also possible for Nakamura to play bishop f3 with bishop d8 and bishop d2. If let's say you go for queen to e7 and then d takes f6. f8, king g1. If you play queen takes a6, rook takes b6, a takes b6, and then e5. Yeah. This bishop safeguards the king. So it's also a possibility that Nakamura went for king g2, bishop d8, queen f3, bishop into c8, queen e3, takes, f takes g5. Oh. This is just a very bad invitation here. Yeah. Queen c3. And Nakamura, being a tactical genius, the guy will not hesitate here. f1. Although even if Nakamura was low on time here, he was still seeing It's important tactics. Takes on g5. Okay, here rook f6 was played, but even if you go for king d7, there's bishop g4 check, king c7, and then queen g7 check. That's about it. If you play the bishop on e7, just takes on f8, rook takes f8, and then bishop takes c8, rook takes c8, or king takes c8, h7, extra pawn. Can't stop the promotion. Okay, so rook f6, h7, last one must be pushed, king to d7. Wow, what a move. Nerves of steel, yeah. Here goes choke resign. One last check here, rook f2, just king g1. If you threaten mate, yeah. Threatening mate, yeah. h8 queen. Queen protects h2. That's also threatening mate on d8. No check on c1. OMG. Everything is well taken care of, yeah. Alright, so with this win, we're expecting an exciting battle tomorrow. Nakamura against Isipenko. Alright, the guy he is going to play for the last round and for the Group A title. So back here, Isipenko versus Bakro. APN, E4, 5, knight F3. This is bishop B5, another Roy Lopez, bishop A4, castles to E1, bishop B3, this is not normal Roy Lopez, A4, D4, takes, okay, equal, bishop C5, rook E8, protecting E5, bishop E3 takes, bishop B7, hitting E4, rook D1, king into F8, rook to D8, a pin on the rook, F3, A5, bishop C4, bishop C6, B3, knight to D7, knight C5, king F2, F6, and here white played C3. Isipenko and played bishop E8. Okay, he can actually capture here knight A4. If let's say you take on A4, he takes A4. Yeah. The game could have ended here. A1, rook takes B2. If you play rook takes A4, B3. Oops. If you go back, for example, A4, unstoppable pawns. If you go, let's say king to D1, it's still B2. If you go C4 here, it would be 8. Rook A1, still A4. The power of the connected pass pawns. Okay, he played bishop E8. King to E1. Bishop F7, takes on D4, bishop C4, rook to D4. Out of the pin, takes, rook to D8, G3. Okay, took some time for black to win here. 7, king E2, rook E4, knight E2, G5, king D1, H5, G4, takes, right, H4, 2 against 1, E5, the knight is protecting the A6 square, king D7, and then this blunder. Again, with seconds to play also for Bakro. Bakro has a forgettable tournament actually here. King to D1, G3, game over. Yep. Takes. If you take the G3 pawn, just rook takes D2. takes on d2, knight takes e4, king moves, knight takes, and the king, if let's say here, king c6, king is inside the rule of the square. So I cannot promote his pawn. So rook takes g3 is not possible. He played king c2, but at g2. It's still the same, yeah. If you go rook g3, same tactic. Rook d2, king d2, knight e4. Pawn promotes. He played rook e1, knight d3, hitting the rook. Rook a1, knight takes f4, a6, king c6, nice move. If you play a7, just rook to d8, yep, protecting a8, because if you promote, I will take, you take, I have promotion. And if you go knight to f3, protecting g1, just king b7, yes, I will go rook here and take this pawn. I can also go knight to h3 here. Promote that pawn later of the game. Yep. Or even just king a8. Yeah. You don't even need to capture the pawn. King a8, rook h8, rook h1. All right. So with that win, exciting battle awaits in Group A. Nakamura against Isipenko tomorrow, round number 6. Ooh, that is crucial. Isipenko wins. He qualifies for the semifinals. If Nakamura wins or a draw, Nakamura wins Group A. So, find out. And the last decisive game that we're going to look at is Harikrishna against Dominguez. Dominguez lived to play for another day. Yes. He's just half a point behind Wesley. They will not be playing in the last round. It's Wesley against Harikrishna and Dominguez against Shurov. But Wesley has to be careful also tomorrow. Okay, let's go through this game. E4, C5, C3, knight f6. That only means that Dominguez is also a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And speaking of Dominguez, he is now an American from Cuba. The winner of Group C, Aronian, is also now playing for the US from Armenia. Nakamura is almost winning Group A. He's also from the US. And we have Wesley in the US. Wow. There will be 3 potential American players in the semifinals against the lonely winner of Group B. It's a toss-up between Wutazek, Poland, or FIDE of Russia. Okay, let's continue. E5, 95, bishop c4, 96. This is the Alapin variation, by the way, of the Sicilian. Knight c6, d4, takes, d5, bishop c2. Okay, now we are going into some French kind of position. h3, restricting the bishop. So 2 bishop d7, c3, queen c8, queen 3 bishop f5. That was the point of queen c8 to activate his bishop. Because if, let's say, white tries to stop it with g4, okay, black always has h5, yeah? He always has this h5. So queen d3, bishop f5, now the bishop is active. Queen d3, 6. It's just like the exchange Karukan with the bishop on f5, yeah? g2, queen into c4, bishop e3, rook c8, castles, h5, okay, c1, h4, queen f3, queen c6, bishop g5. Idea probably is queen f4 and taking that pawn on h4. It's queen d7, knight f4, let's c4, queen e2, protecting b2. bishop to b4, a3, bishop a5, a4. I don't understand this move. Yeah? Not too sure about this. Okay, he was trying to go for knight b5. Yeah, but a6 is just. I wasn't sure about his a3, a4. It would have been interesting to play b3 here. Yeah. So if let's say knight takes into a3, knight only did he play knight b5. Amazing move. Because if knight takes b5, rook takes c8, queen takes c8, queen takes b5. Oops. b3 was interesting. Knight takes e5 is another option here. b4. Double attack. But a4, a6, rook fd1. Okay, this is probably the decisive mistake of he. Rook was protecting d4. He can fall down. After this one, bishop d8. What a move by, what a resource by Dominguez. Takes, d3, queen b6. It's not easy for white anymore. The two knights are helpless. Yeah. Strong bishop, strong knight, stable squares. The protection of the pawn in d5 and the protection of the pawn in e6. Knight into c5, pawn is a pawn. Queen f3, bishop c2, e1, b6, knight takes a6, knight d2. Okay, Dominguez here missed, and he missed a quick win with knight takes e5. Yeah. If d takes e5, this rook takes e3. Oops. We need to his castles, and this knight is just very bad on a6. Where are you going, knight? Knight 2 is winning anyways, but this is 3. Here, queen e2 is possible. So I can go queen b5 at least, yeah. And then if let's say king f8, knight b4. It's still unclear. Okay, go to queen e3, takes c3, taking c3, rook takes c3, knight b4, nice king d7, takes, rook c8, the activity of the rook and the knight. Too much for white. Knight e3, rook a1, into a1, knight b3, double attack. Rook is also eyeing on a4. Pawn is a pawn. Nice e6. Nice move. Takes. Subject king e8, protecting the pawn in f7. Knight e7, protecting c8. Knight g6, king d7, rook g8, knight f4, threatening mate on a1. Knight is attacking e2. Pass pawn must be pushed. The central pass pawn. Rook to b1, d3, d3, d2. Who can stop the pawn? b1, knight e2, knight c3, taking care of d1, to b3, rook e4. Here, white resigned. Okay, for example, if white captures the knight, thus removing the defender of e3 after rook takes e3, d1, queen. There's no fortress. White cannot create a fortress here. Queen can just simply play, and then black can also simply play g5 here later on. There's queen d4. Even the king can go to d5. Very bad king on h2. And if you go for rook to b2, attack the pawn, just rook b4. Pawn is unstoppable. Rook b3, promote, takes with the knight. One piece up, and black wins. And then again, only one player is in the semifinals, and it's Aronian. The three other groups is still up for grabs. Nakamura has had half a point, but he's also playing Isipenko tomorrow. Wow, it will be an exciting finish. Isipenko half a point behind Nakamura. And in Group D, Wesley is leading half a point. Although he's not playing Dominguez in the last round, he will be playing Harikrishna, but he has to be very careful. He should at least draw his game tomorrow to qualify for the semifinals. Right. The winner of Group D will play Aronian, the winner of Group C. And Nakamura, if he wins Group A, he will play the winner of Group B. And it's a toss-up between Mutazek and FIDE. All right. So that was a recap of round number 5. I will see you tomorrow for round number 6 of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022 in Berlin. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is Coach Oliver. Stay safe. Bye-bye.